What up, Joey? Welcome back to the show, man. You ready to dive into it today? You just got back from Europe and Italy.
Yes, sir, man. How you doing?
Dude, great, man. I'm excited to hear about your trip to Italy.
In England, but since I was spending some time over there and the flight's 8.5 hours, I decided to take a little mini vacation myself over in the motherland, Italy. Yeah, baseball has been a little slow because, we've been working on the KDA project, so KDA Bet project. Decided to treat myself. Haven't really took too many vacations over the course of my betting career.
Nice, man. So what were you doing over there? You went there for business purposes, right? But then turned it into a little vacation, or vice versa?
Yeah, half and half. So, I started off in Italy and made my way down from Rome. Just looked at some history shit. Me and Steve are big Roman warrior guys, so we was sending in pictures of Marcus Aurelius and all the stuff they did 2,000 years ago is like amazing. Then I worked my way down. We got some family in Calabria. I went to Pompeii and walked through what's left of that city. They're still digging up. It's actually crazy. Whoever hasn't been to like Italy, it's a must go. It was amazing. Made my way south to Calabria and then to Sicily, knowing that on the way back I would hit England, and I had my meeting set up for late June. No, it was a great trip. I took like a cooking course, ate like a gavone, and did a lot of the tourist stuff. Got super tan, everything I needed.
And what were you doing there for KDA Bet? How does that trip relate to KDA Bet? What were you there for as far as KDA Bet goes?
So Steve put me in touch with some guys, and I had some syndicates out in England, which is that in Spain have become just huge betting syndicates because of law. Basically, syndicates pay no taxes. Syndicates are allowed to book. It's not just betting over there. You get to trade both ways, which is a huge opportunity. Instead of laying, 110, you're also can book plus 110, which is a huge advantage for your ROI. Obviously, instead of paying juice, you're getting juice on top.
What do you mean when you say syndicate? Can you explain what a syndicate is in case?
Yeah, sure. Syndicate is like what we consider ourselves, and people we work with are a bunch of people that are either in an office or work together that help bet massive amounts of money and quantity, and have deal with a bunch of sharp groups. So sharp bettors that move a lot of money or deal with big amounts are considered syndicates. Professionals.
Gotcha. Okay. Now can you pick up where you left off there?
I had two contacts. I knew Steve set me up with two contacts. So I set up some meetings with these guys because obviously I want these guys are big traders. So we want the liquidity on KDA Bet to be massive. So we were, I taught them a little bit about what we were doing, and, that we're going to have a dark pool, Coro, that will hide all their bets, because it's a big thing for these groups to hide their bets. A lot of what they do, talking to them, is kind of like, I get why they do it, because they can't protect themselves. So if I'm on an exchange and I post my bet, I'll break it down for everybody, and I really want 50,000 on the Vikings. I can't put that 50,000 on the exchange and let that be seen, because it's kind of tipping my hat of which way the market's going to go. So people could pretty much front run me. That's why Coro's so great for us,
and this is because big players like you guys spend all the money building modules. Like, you guys have players like Steve that build supercomputers, right? That run these are called modules. So you guys basically have a really good understanding of what way the game's going to go, like down to 1 point or half a point or whatever the case may be. And if, say, somebody like FanDuel knew that you wanted the Lions +2, once they see your money come down, they don't have to worry about anybody else's data or anybody else's numbers. They know that if Joey's betting +2, that's where the game's going to go, right? Is that what the whole purpose of that is?
So guys like Steve and, that we do our own football in-house. Steve doesn't really do football. We have we model statistics, any type of data that we backtest and feel can go into this model, and it trains itself on learning what works against the spread, winning long-term, and what doesn't. It kind of throws out what doesn't and keeps in what does. So when we train our model and back test it and, we say, okay, wow, this system is working at a 57% rate. Let's go test it live and go up against the FanDuels and whoever other bettors. So in your case with FanDuel, if we took the Lions +2, they were telling them what we think, and we're right more than them. So they should take into account what we're betting and move their numbers off that. So if we took the Lions +2, they should move their number to 1 or 1.5, knowing that it's probably the right side and it's probably going to close lower. And they should try to attract the other side of things. So if Detroit's playing New England and I bet Detroit +2, they should want the other side, New England like -1 or -1.5. They should want to attract their bettors towards the wrong side.
Got you. And how does that work? I can only imagine. Are you guys running models on every player on every team? Like, I know I can get on FanDuel and I can place bets on any game, but I can't imagine that your team is deploying resources to run modules on every single game, on every single sport. How does that work when you guys start going out of your element? Like if I wanted to place a 20x long on some cricket.
Cricket's actually pretty big. No, so you could make a model for props, but the liquidity isn't there. So we don't really dabble too much in the player props and stuff like that you can do on FanDuel. They're very beatable, but it's just the time and effort. You really need to be able to get down, which is really hard because an NFL game, you could bet 10, 20, $100,000. And on a player prop, like you were saying, the fantasy type lineup stuff, you can only bet like 200, 500, maybe something like that. So
you guys, but I'm saying like you guys will be able to take bets on every game, right? On every team, or is KDA Bet just going to be like, okay, we're only taking bets on the NFL, we're only taking bets on baseball? Is it going to be every sport? Will your site be like that, or is it just going to be specific?
Well, this is part of the reason why I went to England, and I really want to, I have my own people I deal with on a daily basis that I know will flush the market. So I met with big market makers over in England, and that was the point, kind of sell them, look, KDA, you're going to be able to fill these orders. You're not going to be front run. You're going to be able to get big amounts down, but we just need you constantly creating markets. So like I said, me, Steve, the high water guys, we do all together. We do both footballs, we do NBA, and we do baseball. That's like our origination. That's our market making. So we'll be able to put out, yes, we could do every team, 130 college football teams we'll make a number for, and we'll put that number on the market. And if somebody wants to take our bet, go against us, then it's there, As for the other sports, like you said, even cricket or ice hockey, whatever it may be, we're going to have to try and reach out to other market makers. We could essentially put up just a standard line, but it's not going to be monster limits. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense. But we're looking for people to come in and help us, like the England guys. They're great with EPL. They're great with tennis. One of the groups I met. So like that's where they could fill the void of having all the sports in one marketplace.
And then when they say I was really big into ice hockey and you guys didn't have a market maker and I came over to KDA Bet, you guys would be looking at me making the line, right? So I put up all the liquidity. I say, hey, here's the spread, 2.5, whatever it is. Once people see that there's like $100,000 worth of liquidity, will they know how much liquidity is there? Will these teams know how much liquidity is there? Like if I wanted to place something on a game of cricket, will I be able to see like, okay, I can place a bet for 50,000? Will that be on the site so people know what type of money they can put down?
Yeah. So the way we envision it would be if Ryan likes the Penguins and, -130 and he wants to bet $5,000 on it. So now it'll have that price, that spread, it'll be attached to your account, and then you'll see the liquidity there, almost like crypto or, whatever. You see like the levels. Mm-hmm. So level 1 will be the best number and the liquidity behind it. And level 2 will be the second best number and the liquidity behind it. And you'll be able to see and say not everybody wants to just bet 5,000. They may want 500, or for recreationals, just want $100. It doesn't matter. You'll be able to take a piece of your bet. Now, Ryan, I only want to bet Ryan $100. I don't really care. I'm watching the game. Now, your liquidity is 4,900. You have left to fill at that number. Yep. And you can play around with that. and do what you want. If you're not getting a bunch of hits and you think your edge is even better, then maybe lay minus 127 and see if that starts picking up some hits. You know what I mean? Like, or some more bets.
So the spread is always changing, right? Until the game starts. And the idea is that if you get in earlier, the spread should be more so in your favor, right? The earlier you get in, the better the spread is. And that's how you guys are attracting everybody, because they'll see these good spreads and they want to come and take action on one side or the other. Say I'm a big market maker and I want to put I want to put a line out there, but there's no liquidity. I place the bet and then now there's 100,000 in liquidity and I try to entice players to take the opposite side of that. Is that how you guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, you nailed it. If you're confident in your numbers and you don't really care, because most sharps are trying to, it's perfect harmony of betting early on the numbers, but you have to get a certain amount of liquidity or it's not worth it. And like that prop example. So the way the sports books work is they have limits, and the more action they fill throughout the day and kind of sharpen their line, then they're willing to take more risk. But in the beginning, they're not giving you much, $1,000 on the side. So betting syndicates can't work off $1,000 no matter how much we win. We would have to win at 100% rate. It's basically that fine line. Now, if you create your markets and you're so sure in your numbers and you got balls to put out $100,000 bet at, Monday, 9 a.m., then so be it. I mean, you'll probably get action, I'm sure. You just got to be very confident in your model. And if you're winning, I mean, you're going to be up against some guys that also know what they're doing too.
And how do you guys prevent yourselves from getting wiped out? How are you guys that confident that there's not going to be a bigger player? Like, say if I wanted to place $1 million bet, do you guys have to take that bet, or there has to be liquidity, or how does that work?
No. Yeah, I mean, we won't really take anything. Like, if there is 10,000 players on KDA Bet, they may chip at that $1 million, and I mean, you may be able to get a fill. I mean, that's a high amount for sure, but it's not directly affecting us unless we come in and take your bet, so it's not us booking it. It's more of us, like, you putting a number out there. And if Ryan's model says, like I said, the Rangers minus 130, and we have the Rangers should only be minus 110, then we would take the other way off you. We would give you the action, give you the play, or take some of your liquidity. And that's kind of how it works. It's different than like a FanDuel model in the US, where the bookie puts it out with low limits or whatever, and the bettor bets it, and the bookie has to take that bet. I don't have to. If I agree with Ryan, I don't have to do anything with his bet. Maybe there's enough people in the market, like I said, like the guys in England that, have positions on a lot of stuff, may fill your order, or half of it, or a quarter of it, or whatnot.
Yep. Perfect. So I watched a documentary with Billy Walters. I know he's one of the most famous players in the sports betting world. And he was saying that he runs pretty much all of Vegas. He has over 1,000 different players that work for him and place bets. I believe you guys call those recs, correct? Beards. Okay, so those are your beards.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he has thousands of these beards that work for them. He doesn't know any of their real names. They all go by code names, and they place, thousands, tens, if not hundreds of $1,000 bets for him. And then he's responsible for collecting. So can you tell us about how you find a beard, number one? Or if somebody like myself, say I wanted to become a beard, do I need to already have experience sports betting? Or can I just download the FanDuel app and they're going to give me a $1,000 line of credit, and then I got to lose some and win some to get my numbers up? Or how does that all work? That was a big one. So
yeah, that's all good questions. So I'll answer backwards. So there's different ways to kind of attack the beard process, and Billy was famous for a lot of this. He would have actors go in as beards, like I forget what's the actor on the what's his name? I don't know. He would use actors and
Mayweather would be a good one, right?
Yeah, Mayweather was. No, him and Harabob. I don't know if you know Harabob. He's a big crypto guy, but he was using Mayweather to place his action, because Mayweather's a known loser.
Yep.
And you get a longer leash when you're a loser. or if you're a large casino player. So if you're down 100,000 in the crap pits, you know, they're going to give guys like that bigger limits because they know, yeah, he may fucking win at sports, but, you know, he can't get out of the casino without rolling the dice, you know, so it ain't going far, basically. Yeah, trust is a big issue unless you find a beard that is willing to put up their own money in a sense, because Vegas and FanDuel and a lot of these places aren't credit. They're called post up, where, you know, you have to pay them. If you put in $5,000, that's your limit. The offshore kind of places we use through our accounts and partners, they're more so credit. So there's a little bit of risk with it as well. But yeah, any beard I had came as either knowing or family, or I've used some famous people before, or, you know, a lot of them tend to be truthful, a lot of my beards were more sharp bettors or professional bettors kind of back in the day before computers, and they kind of got weeded out in all this, you know, like, because the game has changed immensely, even with Billy Walters. Billy Walters' best asset was hiring the computer group, which was his group of quants or data scientists or these nerds that built the models and had, you know, they were, I mean, so far advanced, way ahead of the curve. And he managed to figure that is the wave of the future, and kind of, he had the hustle in him. I mean, he was a smart, sharp hustler, and he had this group working for him, which still is today. I mean, we still all use computer guys, and you know, you kind of need that pair. So he would, you know, hire these guys, get the bets. When they fed him the numbers, he would do his little trick with his market, maybe fake, give out. He was crazy with what numbers he would give out. He would have all these beards. No one knew each other, like you said, and nobody had each other's number. And they were all code names. And sometimes you got fake plays, and sometimes you got real plays. He was really crazy about hiding his stuff because it was gold back then. I mean, he can't do that now. I mean, I'm sure he is still ahead of the curve at some point. You know, he did just do a jail stint, but yeah, he was doing insider trading in the stock market, which is a really full market. So he kind of probably was like, sports is great, but man, if I could get some insider trading on, you know, Tesla and monster markets like that, then yeah, or, you know, even in the crypto world, for sure. If he was ahead of a pump and dump or something, I mean, it'd be massive, which a lot of these guys are.
Everybody is, man. Yeah. This industry is so corrupt.
Yeah, big time.
How do you guys track down that money? Like, I guess I'm confused. If I need to put $200,000 on a game, and I got to use 30 different people to get that bet down, and then I have to track all that money, and I have to collect all that, it seems like a huge headache. And this is what KDA Bet is going to change, right?
Yeah. The worst part about this, I mean, I love betting, I love trading, everything that comes along with it. But I mean, I'm not going to lie, when we have to do the figures and get in touch with all these people and the numbers have to match. I mean, we have a program that tracks all that. So, I mean, life's come a long way. It's a lot easier. I mean, so if Ryan was my beard and he's sitting at, you know, the MGM, I say, Ryan, go get us Lions +2. Keep using the Detroit example. Yep. Be more Lions +13, but we'll go with 2. And so now I just put that in my system where you feed it back to us through a chat, and we'll just set her in our program as far as Ryan has 25 at the MGM on the Lions +2. So then it'll tally it up at the end of the week, and we'll know where we at, right, Ryan? We went 4-1, you know, you owe us 100 or whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, and people we lose, we have to find ways to get them money or PayPal, whatever it may be, Bitcoin, you know, whatever payment transaction that we kind of have set for each of our guys, you know, we have to get it like that. So yeah, I mean, KDA will eliminate all that. I won't have, all the figures will be there. All the payments will be locked up and packed. Like, it'll be amazing. There'll be no laydowns. There'll be a dark pool Goro that no one can front run. We don't have to worry about those monster tell orders. Like when I was telling you you know, like if you put that $100,000 example up, or $1 million example you said, I mean, if I went on KDA Bets and I saw $1 million on the line, somebody fucking knows something, you know. I'm going to be like, I'm getting ahead of you. You know, you may not have filled $1, but I already know, unless you're spoofing that. But I mean, that's a risky spoof. A spoof is like a fake number too. Sometimes you can bait people into thinking, so you kind of fuck them if they want to steal your number or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, if I'm like, wow, $1 million, every other bet is $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and then I got $1 million on the Lions, I'm probably going to bet it, just because I'm like, this. I mean, anybody who risks $1 million is no asshole, you know?
You guys just build this out. That's it. Because once you guys have this up and running, the market makers bring all the liquidity, and they're going to come to where it's easiest, right? Like the big players, the Joeys of the world, they're going to come to KDA Bet, no questions asked. Like, you guys don't have to market. You guys don't have to really do much. You guys just have to build this and make it work, and it'll sell itself.
Yeah, because I mean, liquidity is the most important thing. There's so many winners out there. Not so many, but there's enough winners out there, and there's enough people with opinions that want to bet higher, and these sports books just won't allow it. The market's just not that big, you know, and they're very greedy in just taking like the square money, the rec money. I mean, they don't even want to hire somebody to combat anything we do. I mean, because it's expensive. I mean, I know what we do, and the England guys are even, I mean, the syndicates I met over there are, I mean, they're strictly API betting, which is even more than what we do. I mean, we're pretty automated. I like to have a hands-on thing when we trade, and kind of like the examples I gave you, but I mean, they're strictly bot betting. They have their numbers in a program. If the market gets out of whack and their number picks it up, they just automatically bet it. And, you know, I mean, they were betting as I was talking to them, you know, so.
Wait. So
but liquidity is everything.
These guys have bots that do all the sports betting for them. So once you get your numbers, you put your line out there, and the bot will automatically push liquidity and take bets on both sides of the market automatically without doing anything.
Yeah. So once we get this up and running, I kind of want to follow suit now that I'll have an exchange with liquidity. Because what we do now is we're still hands-on. I have everything on a program and a bot, but I still manually input what I want to bet. Like if I want to bet Dallas, I have to go out and, you know, actually bet Dallas. And now it'll go everywhere. Like it's a one-click process, but I like to have a little bit of control, because when I automated, like, I don't know, 5-8 years ago, or sometimes we would auto bet. I mean, you get like, you know, it's like you could win 4 games of 4 games, but you're automating so much that, you know, like the 4 games I lost might have been $20,000 each, and the 4 games I won, I might only got $10,000 each. So even though I went 50%, I lost 10,000 more on each game on the losing side. So I like to have like a hands-on kind of thing. I don't like to get, I'm sure it could be, you know, programmed a little bit better. So that's what me and Steve and the High Water guys, Martin, are going to work on after the KDA Bet, so we could really API and automate everything, and, you know, just have it come together so we could be firing 24/7 with our numbers. I mean, that's the goal after, you know, running all this. For now, I don't have any there's no really good outs. Matchbook used to be one. There was a couple sites, but they don't want to deal with U.S. clients anymore. So I really have no need of, you know, betting 24/7 and arbing out of positions, because it's not like that right now. Something has to take the spot. Hopefully, you know, KDA Bet solves all that too.
Can you explain a little bit about how you guys actually get accounts, and like what's different about Europe? I know you just came over there. They're doing things a lot different than they are here in the USA. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So it's a little different, or a lot of different than what, you know, my kind of pitches. My pitch is we have access to a lot of offshore places with credit, and we need our beards or partners to go in and kind of get us accounts and they vouch for it, and our job is to win, and both sides are married and happy. Over there is a little different. They have all like legal real places because you're allowed to bet there with I think I mentioned no tax implication. I forget if I mentioned it earlier but they could bet and book and they don't have to pay taxes on any of it. It's totally legal. You could get licensed. Like, it's amazing. I mean, so that's why a lot of people have been a lot of my friends, pro sports bettors, been moving to Spain and England. But what they'll do is, there's regulated countries, like same with the US, not countries, but states. If I want to bet in Las Vegas, I have to be in Las Vegas, or I have to have a Vegas residence. Obviously, we use beards in each state that they're the residents and they place the bets for us. Sort of like how England works, but they have monster agents from, like, all these guys' jobs is to get the accounts off the main place. So if they want to use, ISS, which is a big Asian soccer place, then these agents get all the Asian bookmakers, SBO, and all these places under their branch. They vouch for it. They give the bank ID. They give the address. You have to prove their mail. And this is all they do is grab all these accounts. They may have 50 different books that are legal that they're vouching for, even if they have to put up money or keep money in certain spots. And then that's filtered to, like, guys that I met, like the syndicates and professional bettors like that. So the only really illegal part is the agent in between the sports book, which is legal because they're giving it to, a guy in China or Asia or whatever. And that person, what he does with it is give it to the betting syndicate in England or Spain, and it's legal for them to bet. It's legal for the sports books to give accounts to people in their country, and just the movers, they get paid very well. They either take a cut of the profit or just get paid through according to how many bets the syndicate makes, which is called like volume. And so every bet the syndicate makes, that agent gets paid on it, win or lose. That's usually the agents take a piece of the account, meaning they bet with the syndicate too, because they know the syndicate's going to win. But these books aren't afraid to take bets, and they know what's going on, like they know that there's popular agents out there that do this full time and they're getting bets from other syndicates, but they kind of want the action, so they look the other way type situation. Same thing goes on in Vegas. I mean, they know who's runners and who isn't and stuff like that. So,
dude, that's badass, man. That's pretty freaking cool watching this all come together. It just seems like it's such a necessary tool in this industry as far as the sports betting goes. There's tons of problems and tons of ways that KDA Bet's going to make that all better for everybody. It's a necessity. It's a need in the industry, and I don't see you guys having any issues once you guys get up and running that. You guys are going to take this world by storm.
Yeah, just got to make it easy to onboard. That's it. But I mean, people will do whatever it takes because, I mean, look at the hoops I just told you I'm going through to pay and collect, and just to bet. Like, my own bet is like so hard just because, I want more than they're willing to give. I have to I can go in with a gonzo mask and, like sunglasses to make it seem like, just to bet. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's going to change, so hopefully with us.
So let's end it with this one. Tell us where are your next targets? You got plans to travel? You guys got more meetings, more market makers you guys are signing or trying to sign?
Yeah, we have I would say about nine big market makers now. I mean, but the guys we're getting are like, they do like millions a week. So it's going to be great. I mean, if just these 9 will be massive with us. Everything's going good. I mean, we're ready. We're working on the pitch deck. Should have been done yesterday. We have to present it to 2 more people, one in England again. And I'm trying to get some contacts through LinkedIn or whatever. I don't really have a strong presence in China, you know, and they're big bettors. So I would like to get some context there and kind of, you know, set up some meetings, usually over Zoom. If they like what they hear, then we'll go out and talk shit and wine and dine and, you know, get some deals in place.
True, that's huge, man. Well, I can't wait to hear more about it, man. So it's an honor to have you back on the show, Joey. Thank you so much for coming back on. Is there anything else that we missed, or you want to say anything else to anybody?
No, we're working on a website of mine. I'm going to kind of roll out some new stuff. We'll have some cool stuff. It's feedme.bet is the website. It's really nothing right now because the main focus is KDA. So, you know, I'm going to hopefully roll that out by football. I have some new gear and maybe some open positions or, you know, whatever. I'm going to see what's out there. But as far as that, no, we keep trucking along and, you know, hopefully we just keep landing, you know, these market makers because they're the lifeline.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I'm excited, Joey. I can't wait to get you back on the show, man. Maybe get you back on in a week or two and keep updating us, man. You're welcome on anytime, buddy.
All right. Awesome, man. Thanks.
All right. Take it easy, Joey.
Hey, you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, then check out my Kadena playlist. This one blockchain is going to change every aspect of life as we know it. And then come join us live on my second YouTube channel. Love you guys.